center for the Buffalo Bills. Friend of the program, an absolute stallion, Mitch Morse. Hey, Beard looks phenomenal at this time of the year. Has it been like this all year? It feels like it's very well groomed right now. It looks amazing.
Well, it's one of those things that when the wife gives you like a, hey, you should kind of figure this out, like subtle, like it's looking a little homeless kind of deal. That's when you double down, and it just so happened to be around the playoffs too, so it worked out well.
Oh, primetime games, beautiful beard,
What?
team playing the best ball. Mitch, you guys have to feel it in there, right? You guys have to feel you've won 6 straight. What you guys did yesterday was never close. I mean, towards the end, there was maybe a backdoor cover coming for some people that maybe had the Steelers plus 10. That's not for you to worry about. That is for us that lost money potentially on that. But you guys, hottest team in football right now. Why do you think that is the case? And you guys recognize that and realize that behind the scenes?
Well, I think it was one of those things. We were sitting there at 6-6 in November, and we've kind of had this playoff mentality for the last 6 or 7 weeks. I mean, it was one of those things that you know what works, but at the same time, the stakes are at their highest in the playoffs. But we've had this playoff mentality for the last 6 weeks, and it's not sexy. There was no sexy like team meeting where we were sitting there like, come on, guys, we got to figure this out. We just kind of stuck to it, and it's just worked out. And it's been a beautiful thing, and kind of coaches let our personality show. When the stakes have been at their highest, he's had the ability to let us be ourselves and kind of took the reins off in regards to the pressure of making mistakes. And I think that's a really tough thing for a coach to do when the smallest thing could impede the playoffs or making it the postseason, is when he became his most lax in regards to making sure that the players were not that tight.
Love that, because in the biggest moments, some coaches aren't ready for it too. Everything's normal, rah, 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 and they're losing their minds. That obviously sets the tone for the entire locker room and for the team. Speaking of the locker room, you said there was no meeting. No players-only meeting is what I heard. That's a shame. Wow, that's unbelievable. But there was some video from the locker room after the Chiefs game where basically Brandon Beane said, hey, how about our fucking coach? Because that was just a few days after, obviously, the article was written about Sean McDermott trying to take him out and question the culture that you guys have behind closed doors. That felt like a little bit of a rally, galvanizing thing, was it? Or was that just that moment where we felt it and seen it?
No, there was for sure some validity to that galvanizing. I think, it was just a wild deal, right? That thing came out, and, it had the opportunity to polarize the locker room, and it did the exact opposite, which was kind of rallied the guys not only around the coach but each other. I mean, it really felt like it was us versus the world to a certain extent. Not only were we sitting in a position where we had to win, but everything seemed to be, the Buffalo is, a terrible place to be. The coach is shit, and it's just not the case. Like, it was, we really felt like that was a narrative that wasn't what we were experiencing, and then we just kind of told them to piss off, and we just kind of did our thing, which was beautiful, man.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful, especially when it works out that way. It's like storybook stuff, movie stuff, and you're still in it, writing the ending of the movie. Can't wait to see that. Go ahead, AJ.
Mitch, you mentioned the coach kind of taking the reins off or easing the pressure a little bit, not having, guys aren't worried about making little mistakes here and there, and ultimately, you can play free and have fun and play much faster that way. Was it a certain day or a week, or how does he do that? Is it something you guys actually address, or do you just kind of feel it happen?
Different music in practice?
Yeah, that's a good question. He addressed it, and I think that's one of those things it's one of those topics you have to address as a coach. You can kind of, by osmosis, you can kind of feel at times, but when he truly says, like, hey, the night before the game, go out there, play free, you have the green card to not be afraid to make mistakes. And to hear that from a coach it's powerful, man, because you hear about it and you want to believe that, but to actually feel that, and then the next day, 24 hours later, you hear that message the night before and you say, okay, well, let's take that with a grain of salt when the bullets are flying. Let's see if that actually goes down. And to his credit, he doubled down on it when the stakes are at their highest and the emotions are flaring on the sidelines.
I love that was the most offensive lineman answer I've ever heard. Yeah, we'll see. Was basically what all the boys, I assume, in the offensive line room were thinking whenever he said, hey, we're going to be relaxed. Let's just go ahead and play our game, play football. And then whenever he follows through on it, you build some legitimacy and trust. And especially with that article coming out, you can see how you guys became an absolute monster. Another change kind of happened. Darius has a question for you.
Big part of you guys becoming an absolute monster. That O-line unit, you guys play, I think every game pretty much started together. But moving on to Joe Brady later in the season, I know you said it wasn't a special meeting. You guys have ran the ball more than almost anybody in the league. What's the mindset with that with Joe Brady and the team?
Yeah, it's another good question. In our offensive staff room, we have an embarrassment of riches in regards to guys who have been offensive coordinators. I think we have 4 of our 5 or 6 offensive coaches have been offensive coordinators at times.
Wow.
So, it's not so much a delegation of Joe Brady being on top here and then everyone kind of following suit. It really is a collaboration. And, from our O-line coach to our tight ends coach. And it's hard when the run game for a coordinator is not working early to stick with it, right? Because and he's even admitted, like, it's hard to call run after run because, as a coordinator, you want these sexy throws down the field, but I think when you can stay ahead of the chains, right, and at least get into third down situations where you have the option to run or pass, that's the biggest thing. And then I think time of possession is also critical in these wins.
The reason why, you can say, well, the run's not working, got to throw it, is because Josh Allen is, and he does this one. And it's just 70 yards right on it's unbelievable how strong his arm is and how he doesn't seem to ever get bothered by the weather. And then you got Stephon Diggs and Dalton Kincaid is starting to cook. Big flex out of him early in the game, which is beautiful. But for the entirety of that team, you guys up there, vibe so much higher now than the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, were you guys worried? Was there any worry at all about maybe we fucking lost the magic that we've had for the last few years? Was last year so long, was so much? Like last year, the amount of things that your team had to go through. I mean, you're talking the beginning of the year, in training camp, with the community shooting that took place, and then obviously other injuries, and then DeMar Hamlin, and then you just start stacking up. Was there any worry in the locker room about why aren't we playing as good as we are? Did we kind of lose our magic? And then when you get it back, is it always knew it. This is who we are. This is exactly. Is there that type of differential from early in the year to now?
I mean, there was definitely some frustration knowing that we were the same. We felt like we were the same group of dudes that could hang 40 on a team, and then we end up coming in on a loss where you score 10, 15 points, and you look at yourself and we shot ourselves in the foot again. Blah blah blah. I mean, maybe internally you're feeling this frustration, but I give credit to the guys. It was just kind of you just come in to work the next day and you just, today I'm just going to do the best I can and compound these moments and then see what happens Sunday. And then you have a group of, 53 guys doing that. You have these collaboration of moments that you get to celebrate on Sunday. We knew we had the opportunity to do this, but at the same time, I think the blessing in disguise is we also know that if we're not on our P's and Q's, that anything can happen. This league is full of parity, and it's just. Also, we were talking earlier. I don't think I've ever used the word parity outside of anything in the NFL, in context in life. Someone asked me the definition of parity, and
I think bottled waters have good parity.
Yeah,
bottled waters have good parity.
There you go.
Yeah, besides that, that's all I got.
Beer.
Well, what you just described there, by the way, is your culture. Your culture showed through. 53 guys buying in, showing up every single day. And then you get humbled a little bit. Hey, we can lose and not play our best. It's almost like a gift to the Buffalo Bills at this point. Speaking of gift, did you teach Josh Allen the fake slide?
Oh.
Was that you that did that?
Oh, hell. No, hell no. I'm more begging that fucker to slide once in a while. But, I mean, you say that, and then he does something he pops off that 53-yarder, and you're screaming in the back, get down, dude. What are you fucking doing? And then he goes for it, and you're yelling, go, go, go. So it's a beautiful thing, right? where Josh Allen is who he is because he's willing to lower his shoulder, and he's a little sick in the head because he likes it.
Yeah, you're the man, Mitch. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful, hearing a teammate care for his teammate. Yeah. We're begging that fucker to slide.
Oh, it comes from a place of love.
Bingo, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely it does, yeah. But just like hearing you say that we would like everybody to know our position as well as teammates of this guy's. We'd like him to remain healthy because when he is healthy, especially when he's playing like now, absolute wagon. Conman has a question for you, Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch, we talked to Jordan Poyer Friday, and, going into the weekend, it didn't feel like there was any possibility that the game would be moved just because snow in Buffalo. You just assume that happens. But when it does get moved, what was the reaction out of you guys and the team as a whole? And were you almost kind of relieved that you had all day Sunday to shovel snow instead of having to play a football game? Or what was the reaction once you guys did realize, hey, we got an extra day here and we're playing Monday afternoon?
Well, I think COVID kind of gave us a script to work with in regards to games being moved on a whim. And then you also have a little weird PTSD from the years previous where it snows 7 feet in 24 hours and guys are fighting for eggs in the grocery store. And when it comes to football, it was one of those things where you just like we know that people behind the scenes are working their hardest diligently to make sure we can play safely. And then also, like, I think the one thing that they told us was more than anything, it was just in case someone got hurt on the field, if they can get someone to a level 1 trauma unit, which made a lot of sense to me. So it was.
I didn't even think about that, obviously.
Yeah, none of us really did. But to answer your question, it was one of those things you've seen in the past what this looks like, the weather in Buffalo can do. And then when it came to 1 o'clock on Sunday, when the game was supposed to be played, dude, looking outside your window, you couldn't even see your neighbor's house. So there was no way you could throw a ball past 10 yards and see. There's no way the fans would have been able to see the game. It just would have been dangerous and an absolute shit show out there.
How long have you been with the Bills?
This is year 5 with the Buffalo Bills.
You're a Texas Bowl, if I do recall, right?
That's true. That's correct.
How is that, Bubba? You talk about that snow. It's different from what the videos I'm from Pittsburgh, snowy place. Obviously, we deal with 4 seasons. A lot of them are cold, even though it says 4 seasons. People think 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. That is not correct.
No.
It's fucking cold all the time, so I understand that. But that Buffalo snow and cold is different, it seems like, from what we've been hearing.
It's a moose, dude. It's an absolute sucker.
Moose?
I mean, like you said, it's not a 25%. You can sneeze and one of those seasons will be over, and then the snow and the winter lasts for 60% of the time. But I'll tell you what, the people here are proud of being from Buffalo. It's the city of good neighbors for a reason, and I mean, we had a guy have a kid on Friday here. And then, of course, the game gets canceled. He gets stuck trying to get to his family or his wife and kid who's getting discharged from the hospital. The city of Buffalo rallies around him, pulls him out, gets him to the hospital, and then they escort him in a front loader from the hospital to his house. It takes about an hour and a half to get 3 miles, but they have a tractor get him and his family back. It was just a cool thing, man. And so it snows like a mother here, but what are you gonna do? It's part of being a Buffalo. It's what you learn to embrace. And from the outside looking in, it looks insane, and it's a little bit insane here in it, but you just kind of embrace it and roll with it.
That's not happening in a lot of places. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Buffalo. What a place.
Yeah.
Best.
And because that front loader takes hour and a half to get 3 miles, that's why they got to keep the bars open until 4:30ish. That's why their last call is so late than everywhere else. Right, Mitch, I think?
Yeah, I think at that and guys, I mean, it's a dangerous scene to see guys go from, like, if you have a Sunday 1 o'clock game here, from the 4:30 bars, they go straight to tailgating. These suckers are hammered at like 9:30 in the morning. Just the Holy Spirit's running through them. It's a beautiful thing.
They were taking advantage of it yesterday.
Yeah.